Hey, it's Julie and Andy, and we are here to talk to you today about codependence. I have a strong feeling that if you're watching this, you are dealing with issues of codependence. If you are an addict who is in a relationship with someone in or out of recovery, or you are the one who is not in recovery but your partner is in recovery, that there are issues of codependence. It's so common. Yeah, many normal people have it. Certainly, Julie and I have dealt with that from day one. I've always thought that our codependence is one of the big reasons we got together. Desperation. That's our cat. So anyway, I wanted to talk about the likelihood that you deal with it, and no matter how severe it is, there is a way to get through it. Julie and I have had many fights, mostly due to the fact that we are codependent. The fight was about nothing. One person looked at the other person the wrong way, and the other person said, well, what is that supposed to mean? And off you go. But we have learned to frequently just sort of stop and say, what's this all about? And we can avoid an awful lot of tension and uncomfortable afternoons and evenings, because we are aware that it is a factor. It has been a factor. It still is a factor. It's very much alive and well. We haven't vanquished it, but that we know it's there, and we know we can stop and look at each other and go, okay, what is this really about? Is exceptionally helpful in dealing with it.
Yeah, like so many things, awareness is like half the battle. So just knowing when we're doing it, and a lot of the times it's like, simply put, like he said, looking at somebody the wrong way, or it's just like if somebody's not feeling the way you want them to feel, and then you have a reaction to that. So, I tell Andy something like super exciting, and I have the expectation that he's going to be like all into it and excited, and he's not. And then I take it personal, and I feel down, and I feel like, feeling crappy about myself. Where, like, I totally set myself up for that. I'm responsible for my own feelings, and that's like a whole nother topic, is validation. But that's really what codependency is seeking validation from somebody else. You want them to validate your feelings, and you're codependent because you don't, you're not getting that from somebody. And it's all related in addiction. Codependency, I think, is an addiction in itself. You're addicted to people. You're addicted to that validation. So I consider myself in recovery too from codependency. But we have learned, like he said, the awareness, but also like tools to use. So it could be as simple as just realizing it. Okay, like I'm seeking that from him. I need to step back and walk away. And just walk away. Let it go and walk away. And like be pissed off about it, I guess. Like if you need to. We're all entitled to our feelings. But not getting into like, well, why didn't you get excited about that? Like I'm excited. You should be excited too.
I think the walk away is absolutely an excellent. You're not necessarily walking away from the argument to not deal with it. You're walking away to breathe. And then, for instance, this morning, I woke up a lot of energy, which is not my usual way. I got out of bed. I got the kids ready. I had them ready to go to school earlier than usual. Julie had been up because the 2-year-old was up very early, so her energy was way low, and she had kind of that that grumpy face that you get when you just haven't gotten the rest. So now I started feeding off of that. Why, if I'm in this great mood, why isn't she? And why is she bringing me down? And so we started going back and forth a little bit, and then she took the kids to school. 3 or 4 minutes after she's out the door, I'm like, okay, I see what this was all about. We texted back and forth a little bit and apologized, and all that energy was no longer wasted. We had a productive morning after all. So I think walking away is super cool, or is super productive. Not avoiding arguments, but just not arguing over a non-argument, which essentially is what we were doing. There was nothing there to argue about, but that's what we were doing. We were arguing over nothing. So we have an awesome way to deal with issues of codependence that we both fully enjoy. We don't enjoy it often enough because we're a busy couple of people, like you probably are. But she has an activity that she does for herself, by herself. It inspires her. She loves it. She is an artist, and she loves to create by herself. She draws, she paints, she does what she does by herself, and I play the guitar. It's not something she can share, and she could sit there and watch me, and she has every once in a while, but you know, that's kind of boring after a few minutes. So this is great. I do it by myself. It brings me joy. It is for me. It is something that I put all of my energy into, and it's just for myself. She has nothing to do with it. And same with her art. I think it's an excellent way to find inspiration and joy that has nothing to do with the other person. It helps keep your identity, your separateness alive and well. And you don't sit there and say, I don't sit there and say, hey, how did that sound? And she doesn't say, hey, look what I drew. She just does it. I don't even see what she does, and most of the time she doesn't listen to me play. It's completely for me. It's completely for her. Separate, wonderful. And then when we're done, we come back together and say hello again.
Yeah, and it's almost like you're rejuvenated, like you have had that time and space to yourself. And the thing with codependency is that you become one. That's why, you know, if the addict maybe is going to relapse or maybe not, like you're just so intertwined with them, like you become the same person. You start to feel each other's emotions and feel each other's energy constantly, and that's what the codependency really, you know, is. So taking that separate, you know, break from that and developing yourself as an individual as opposed to as a couple, because both are important.
Yeah, and I we're going to leave you with a recommendation to try to find something that a hobby or activity or whatever that is yours and only yours, not the other person at all. Now, we mentioned one that, you know, I do it by myself and she does it by herself. It could be going to a gym and seeing people or whatever, but the point is that we believe is that it's something that is just for you and your connections, but doesn't involve your partner at all. Keep your separateness in small amounts alive and well, and I think we believe that you'll really find it helpful in the long run.
Yeah, you'll be refreshed. So, I don't think we introduced ourselves at the beginning, but we are Julie and Andy. If you watched the whole video, I hope you did. And you can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/loveandaddicts. And I put the link in the bottom of this video. You can also sign up for our email list, and you will get, yay, a free guide, how to love an addict, that you will get to download when you sign up. And the link is below for that too. We're also on Instagram at Julie and Andy. So check us out. We have a new website coming soon, so look out for that. And let us know if you have any questions, comments, concerns, experience, strength, or excitement.
Love yourselves, love each other. We'll talk to you soon.
Have joy.